Hi, my name is Tracy Irons, and I'm here to present this recorded webinar that we presented at Mitcham Council on Wednesday, the 1st of June. What we're talking about today is about barking and what we can do for dogs in this situation. So what we know about barking is that barking is a form of communication. It's normal behaviour. We know that this is something that dogs do, and for some dogs we simply can't stop it or make them not do it anymore because it is a form of communication and it is normal behaviour for them. What we do need to understand is that when it's a problem, and when this is a problem, it becomes disruptive to the household. We find that people are becoming more agitated and frustrated by their dog's barking. When it becomes excessive, when this barking actually takes over the quality of the life of the dog, if this dog's barking is excessive, so it's a lot of hours throughout the day, whether you're home or not home. We also consider it a problem when it seems irrational that we can't actually find the cause or work out the cause of why this dog is actually barking. And this is when it becomes really distressing for people. It's when it's impacting the household. And we have a lot of owners that become really quite distressed about seeing their dogs barking in this manner throughout the day. Is it affecting the quality of the life of the dog? Is this dog not having a good time when it's barking? And what can we do about it? Now, some of the reasons why this dog could be barking is because of lack of stimulation in the environment that it's in. It could be frustrated. It could be suffering from separation distress. It could be territorial reasons. It could be aggression. It could be just generalised anxiety or even canine dementia. And we'll cover a few of these later on as we go through this webinar. Now, if we can identify that this dog is suffering from a bit of lack of stimulation in its yard or frustration, here are some tips and some suggestions that we can offer you. Now, what we do is that this is normal dog behaviour. So this is my little dog, Matilda, and she's not really a barker, but she's a bit of a chewer. So what I do like to do is provide her some stimulation to, I guess, satisfy her need to chew. And that's just a really simple piece of cloth wrapped with some treats in there for her so she can sort of get into there and satisfy that need to chew. That's what she enjoys. What we also suggest is increase our environmental enrichment. So this can be done in ways of physical, mental, and social enrichment. We really need to meet the dog's needs, and we'll talk a bit more how we can do that later on. So this may require some owner management, so something on your behalf as the dog's owner, and you may want to seek some qualified professional advice as well. Some management tips that we can offer you is perhaps blocking the view. Now, we can go to Bunnings or Mitre 10 or another hardware store, and there is some contact frosting that we can purchase to put on our windows to actually distort or obscure the view of the dogs actually looking out. Now, we can still see, have sunlight come in, but it may just distort that view enough, not allow for that dog to see the trigger or what is causing it to bark. Even simply allowing some access inside the house. Some dogs may just want to be inside or closer to the family unit in there. And it may be simply just opening up the laundry door there and having them access in. Maybe having a play session if that's suitable for another dog. So having a friend or a family member that's got other dogs, invite them over so the dog can actually have a play session. We may need to increase the activities that your dog is actually doing, but most of all, find out what your dog likes and what it needs. So we'll cover this now. So what we know that dogs need is that dogs need to feel safe. Everyone likes to feel safe, and our dogs are no different. Dogs like to have choices. When they're only given one thing to choose from, it may either frustrate them or not fulfill their needs enough, just having one simple choice for them. Dogs have the right not to feel frightened or scared, and they like to have reassurance as well. So when dogs are actually feeling scared or worried, they may vocalise that. And sometimes we just need to reassure them or pat them or comfort them to let them know it's okay. Please don't be too concerned that you're reinforcing the fear. Fear is an emotion, it's not a behaviour. We can only reinforce a behaviour and not an emotion. So again, if your dogs are feeling a bit worried or a bit unsure, giving them some simple comfort may decrease that barking. What we also know with communicating with dogs is that consistency is the key. Everyone needs to be on the same page. Read your dog's body language. Become an expert on reading your dog. If we put fear or worry into your dog, it may impede the learning and dissolve the trust and the bonds that that dog has with you. Confrontational training can increase fear, and that's certainly something that we don't want. So I've done a bit of research, and I think it's a really good way that we can actually increase our knowledge of our own dogs and find out what they like simply by dating them. So I Googled how to date someone, the do's and don'ts of starting a relationship, and I think it gives us some really good tips on actually how we can get to know our dogs better. Now, this might seem really weird, but it actually works really well. So what we know about dating is that we know that when we begin a new relationship, it can be a lot of fun, can be a little bit stressful as well, but it does bring a lot of smile to our faces when we first get to know someone. Again, remember that moment when you felt really good about someone and someone felt the same about you as well. It's really no different with our dogs. Again, that feeling of being liked and someone enjoying your company, there's nothing that feels better than that. So the actual tips that I took away from this can work really well with our dogs. So one of the tips was do add variety to your date. So again, find out what your dog likes and do more of that. Now, it may not be something that you really enjoy, but if your dog enjoys it, then please take the time to do more of it. For some dogs, it might be going to the park and having an interaction, a game of ball, tug, whatever the dog chooses. Do more of that if your dog enjoys it. It strengthens the bond, and it's a really lovely thing to have that lovely relationship with your dog. What we also know is that don't blow up their phone, which simply means don't overload them with too much. So again, I did explain that choices are good, but if we're taking our dogs out to places that they're not really having a good time in, they actually might start with withdrawing or avoiding that interaction with people there. So if we take dogs to cafes or shopping malls or markets or something that there's a lot of people and the dog is actually struggling in that environment, maybe we just need to take a step back and go, right, is the dog actually benefit from this? Is the dog actually enjoying it? Can I seek some other interaction some other way? So I always say maintaining a bit of independence. When we start a new relationship, we still like to hang out with our friends and still like to hang out with family, and our dogs are no different as well. So what we need to do to create a bit of independence is practice and reinforce that being alone is actually okay. We like to give choices. Again, give plenty of choices of what the dog likes when left alone. Now, as I explained before, my dog enjoys chewing, so I make sure there's loads of things for her to chew whilst I'm not there. If I don't give her that opportunity to enjoy her chewing, then she will choose things that I may not appreciate her chewing, such as pot plants, hose reels. And again, I've learnt that from experience, seeing she enjoys to chew, so I make sure I have those options available for her. Encourage a bit of distance from you. So a lot of working with dogs, we try and increase the mat training, go find exercises as well. And that just helps the dog to actually learn to be away from you. But there's good stuff that happens when they're away from you as well. Observe the dog's threshold. Never push a dog over threshold. And over threshold simply looks like the dog is distressed, worried, hypervigilant, and unable to settle. We don't learn well when our dogs are over the threshold. So again, just observe where your dog is at and ask yourself, is the dog actually enjoying itself right now? If the dog is clearly distressed whilst left alone, then please seek veterinary advice. So another tip that we've got from dating your dog is about communicating, and communicate often and communicate well. So what I suggest is reinforce and encourage the behaviour that you prefer your dog to do. So you both agree on that choice. So again, like I said, my dog enjoys chewing, so I had those options available for her. Now, everyone likes to be told that they're doing a good job. So if your dog is calm and settled and relaxing, reinforce that behaviour. Tell the dog that he's done a good job and he's doing good things at that particular time. If you've brought a new dog into your life, then again, please be mindful that you have brought a different dog into your home. Now, we have to always understand that the dog didn't choose you. You chose that dog. You chose that dog above all others to have into your family and into your environment. So again, we may see dogs that are the same breed, but their temperaments may be completely different as well. So sometimes it's really hard to compare one dog to a previous dog that we had. But please, like every relationship, different person, different relationship, and it's the same as our dog as well. You bring a different dog into your environment, it's going to have different behaviours. So we need to modify and build on that relationship. So as I said before, building relationship. So not one relationship works when it's one side. So when we think about when we build relationships with people, when someone's controlling all the activities and all the things that they do, we need to say to ourselves, am I finding any value in that relationship? Am I frustrated? Am I bored? Because I'm not doing the things that I enjoy. So again, as dog owners, what we need to do is find out what our dog likes and bring more that into the relationship. Now, there are some dogs that are quite happy and content at home and don't enjoy going out for walks. And that's okay. That's the dog's choice, and it's entitled to have those choices as well. So if we find that our dogs like to dig, they like to chew, they like to run around, increase that enrichment for them so they can actually get that outlet there. So again, think about when you're in a relationship, we don't want one person controlling everything. I'm about to show you a video of my stepson, and he has autism, and one of his things that he really enjoys is swimming, and he can get really frustrated quite easily, and so I like to do and bring things into his world that he really enjoys. So it was a matter of me going to Kmart and finding a blow-up pool and giving that to him so he can satisfy those needs. He gets some swimming time, he gets those outlets happening, he gets that enrichment boxes all ticked, and he comes away really happy and content because we fulfilled those needs for him.
Oliver, wave to Lorna. Say hi, Lorna.
Hi, Lorna.
Say, watch me swim.
Watch you swim. The animals are tired.
So it's a great thing that he enjoys. We enjoy watching him swim, and he gets to tick all those boxes. So if you feel that your dog may be suffering from separation distress or anxiety, it is a disorder. So some of the things that we will see is that these dogs don't cope when left alone. They have, I guess, an abnormal attachment to something or someone. You may see behaviours such as escaping, destructive behaviours. These guys really require veterinary treatment, okay? So please don't seek advice from Google, social media. Please seek treatment from a vet. It is a medical condition for them. Aggression, please, again, this requires veterinary treatment. So if you feel that your dog is aggressive barking because of aggression, please seek veterinary treatment. What know about aggression is that it is an emotion, and no dog can be aggressive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So again, when we see dogs that are barking aggressively, we've got no idea what has caused that aggression from an outsider. But what we do need to understand is that we have no idea what has happened to that dog throughout that day. So like all of us, we all have thresholds, and dogs are no different. We may be interacting with a dog that hasn't been fed, might be in pain, hasn't got a good relationship with people. So again, those sort of triggers there can stack on top of each other, and that emotion takes that over that dog, and we see aggressive or reactive behavior. There's generally a sequence of events that happened that led up to that emotion outburst. So again, when we're seeing barking aggressive behavior, like I said, there's always a sequence of events, and we call them trigger stacking. And what trigger stacking looks like is simply putting all of those triggers on top of each other that may cause a reaction. So we may have a dog that doesn't like bike riders, doesn't like other dogs, and doesn't like kids, and we put them all in a situation when all three are present, we may get a reaction from that dog. Now, back in my day, we had a guy called the Incredible Hulk, and his emotions took over. And when they did, he turned into this green monster. So again, throughout the day, without his triggers present, he was a normal guy. When he became overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, he turned into this green monster. So it's kind of no different from our dogs there. If they are reacting to something, we need to work out what those triggers are. A bit like putting elastic bands onto a watermelon there. The more you put onto those elastic bands onto that watermelon, you are going to cause a reaction.
Yeah! One more. Stop it!
Keep putting them on there. Keep putting them on there.
Come on, Riley. Use more than one.
Okay, so we keep adding all these triggers on, and eventually we will get a reaction from that dog. So some of the motivations for aggression can be fear, can be pain, can be resource aggression, can be territorial, can also be redirected aggression, predatory, learnt, or even maternal. So please, if you feel that aggression is the cause of your dog's barking, please see veterinary advice, because we may need to eliminate a few of these motivations to work out and decrease the barking there. If you feel that territorial is the reason why your dog's barking, again, find out what the trigger is, find out what that reason for the barking is. Remove the opportunity for the dog to keep doing those behaviours, because remember, the more they practice it, the better they get at it. Now, this requires owner management, and we do always encourage qualified professional advice as well. Now, if you have a look at this video here, we can see why this dog is barking, but we can probably identify the triggers and the encouragement that the owner gives for this.
Dixie, mailman's coming. Where's the mailman? Where's the mailman? Where's the mailman?
So if we wanted to stop this dog from barking at the postman, maybe let's draw the blind so he actually can't see him. Perhaps not encourage him by saying, where's the mailman, or even putting him into a different room. So we need to sort of counter condition his emotional response to that mailman there. Now, if it's not a problem for you or not a problem for the dog, then this will probably continue. But I probably would guarantee that it may be a problem for the postman, because if that dog ever gets out, he may take on the opportunity to actually attack that postman. So again, think about the behaviours and the consequences of those behaviours as well. If you feel your dog is suffering from generalised anxiety, they may include some compulsive behaviours. Now, compulsive behaviours can be seen in the form of shadow chasing, tail chasing, fly chasing, obsessed with balls or any other toy, or whatever the dog chooses to obsess over. This dog will appear really unsettled, a lot of behaving behaviours, and this dog may be really hypervigilant as well. And so many other irrational and abnormal behaviours might be happening when that dog is put into that situation. Now, these sort of dogs really do require veterinary treatment. Please don't seek any advice on social media or Google or anything like that. Please go straight to your vet and chat to them about your dog's behaviour. Again, if canine dementia could be the reason why your dog is barking, you may sort of see behaviours such as increased disorientation. These dogs become less interactive, changes in the sleep cycle. They may regress in their toilet habits, and they're probably less responsive of what they used to be. Now, again, it's very similar to Alzheimer's in humans, and this really does require veterinary treatment. What I can recommend is I always recommend a vet. If you have got any concern about your dog's behaviour, please have a chat to your vet. We've got some amazing veterinary behaviourists in South Australia. I highly recommend if you can go see one of them or maybe get a referral from your vet. There is products called Adaptil, which is a synthetic pheromone that's been impregnated into a collar or a diffuser. That may also decrease the anxiety or the stress on your dog, and there has been studies to show that it can have a good effect on your dog whilst being worn or being sprayed around in its environment. There's also an over-the-counter product called Zilkene, which you don't need a prescription for. That also can reduce stress in some mild cases for dogs as well, and also available for cats. So again, if you're unsure and you just want to try something to perhaps reduce the barking or anxiety in your dogs, these are definitely some options for you. When you're thinking about a vet, like I said, always please go see a veterinarian, because when we're dealing with anxiety, anxiety is a medical condition. A trainer is part of the modification and the management program, but a trainer cannot diagnose or treat a medical problem because they don't have the qualifications for it. So it's really important, if we can get the dog on the right diagnosis and the right treatment, more than likely we will reduce that barking in those dogs as well. What we doesn't work is how to do things really quickly. So these quick fixes that are available for some dog owners simply can make behaviours worse, or they mask the behaviours and they redirect onto something else. So again, we're actually not getting to the actual cause of it. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. As I explained previously, it could be different reasons why your dog is barking. Therefore, getting the right advice and the right pathway will actually make a great outcome for your dog. Fear does not actually help your dog. Any sort of positive punishment is also something we don't advise. I'm not a fan of spray collars or electric collars as well. So again, when we put these pieces of equipment on dog, are we actually masking that behaviour, or are we actually instilling pain, discomfort, pain, making that dog uncomfortable and maybe in fear, become fearful in those situations as well. So again, please avoid these sort of quick fixes or these types of punishment for your dog. Having a look at this next trainer with his interaction with his dog, again, this is someone who feels that he can fix things in such a quick way.
to do is I'm going to give you this. Just relax. Just relax. Step back out.
Hey, hey.
Okay. Just sit down and relax. Okay. Okay. How's your energy?
Sorry?
You can make it. Okay. How's your energy?
Fine.
Okay.
A little nervous.
That's all right. I want you to take a deep breath.
My wife is on the way. Yes.
So looking at that previous video, we could see that dog was very conflicted, very unsure, and probably not having a nice experience with that unfamiliar person. So we're kind of setting that dog up to fail rather than to succeed. So what we know does work is at working at the real reason why this barking is actually happening. Build that relationship with your dog, as we talked about previously, and definitely work within the dog's means. So making sure that this dog is willing and able and wanting to interact with you. Again, work with a dog that is seeking some feedback, that you're having a lovely conversation with the dog. He's checking in with you, you check in with the dog, and that dog is your priority at that particular time. Reward the dog when it's making some really good choices there for you. So again, please, keep reinforcing the behaviour that you want and you enjoy, and same for the dog as well. So thank you for your time for watching this recorded seminar. I hope we did all right for you. If you've got any questions at all, then please contact Mitcham Council and we'll be able to help you out there. Thank you.